5 million people live. There are warnings it could bring power outages and billions of dollars worth of damage. And there are fears it may also take lives. Caroline Hawley, BBC News.
And our weather presenter, Laura Tobin, is here. Hi, Laura. What exactly is Irene doing at the moment?
Well, at the moment, she's just an absolutely huge storm. She's in warm waters at the moment. She's currently a Category 2, and the forecast track still takes her towards North Carolina. Now, the huge, massive cloud is ginormous, but the strong winds are what's really interesting. Tropical storm force winds extend from the centre up to 300 miles out. So that just kind of gives you a perspective of just how big she is.
OK, and 6 states declaring a state of emergency, but the exact path that the hurricane will take, you can't predict that with complete certainty, can you? How likely is it, for example, that it will end up hitting all 6 of these states?
It's very likely that she's going to make landfall in North Carolina. The uncertainty comes in to what category she's going to be. She's crossing across warm waters, gathering speed, gathering intensity, and she could be a Category 3 by the time she hits North Carolina. And then she will track up these eastern states, and there's a high level of confidence that she will still be a hurricane when she arrives in New York on Sunday.
And I understand it's been quite a while since New York itself has been hit by a storm like this, of this strength.
Yeah, it's really, really unusual for New York to actually get a hurricane. Often she'll have the remnants of hurricanes, so tropical storms, but she's only had in her history 5 hurricanes. The last one was in 1985. The really interesting thing about this storm is that we're going to have winds of up to 110 miles an hour and really, really heavy rain as well. We could see 15 inches, and that's the cause for concern. Widespread flooding and widespread flash flooding, which is obviously life-threatening.
OK, Laura, thank you very much. Laura Tobin.
Just an update on Libya with reference to the arrival of Hurricane Irene. Let's bring in Laura Tobin, who I know is keeping an eye on things from here. Where is it now and how strong is it?
She's currently a Category 2. First thing this morning she was a Category 3. She's out in open waters, but the problem is that the waters are really warm at the moment, 28, 29 degrees, and that's a recipe for gathering more energy. And she's going to develop further through the next sort of 12 to 24 hours as she tracks towards North Carolina, and by then she could be, by Saturday morning their time, a Category 3.
And that path that Janet Napolitano has mentioned, we're looking at the map now, that is still where we think she's going to go, is it?
Yes, I think there's reasonably high confidence that she'll make landfall in North Carolina on Saturday, making her way right at those eastern coasts up towards New York, arriving in New York on Sunday. But the really key thing is that when she arrives in New York, she will still be a hurricane, and that's very unusual. Normally, as they track across land, they decay and lose energy and turn into tropical storms and dissipate, but no, she is still going to be a Category 2, maybe a 1 by then, bringing torrential rainfall up to a foot in places, and that's going to give some pretty severe flash floods.
And to go that far north is very unusual, isn't it?
It's very unusual to still stay a hurricane, yes. In the history of New York, we've only had 5 hurricanes reach New York, and the last one was in 1985. So yes, this is very, very unusual.
And I know over the last 2 evenings or so we've carried pictures from above, from the International Space Station. I mean, it is absolutely enormous.
It's vast. The cloud mass spills out around about 400 miles, which is, I think, from the north to the south of the UK is about 800 miles. So that's absolutely huge. And the strong winds are amazing as well. From the centre of the storm right out to around about 300 miles, there's still tropical storm force.
Laura, thank you. Just another line from that press conference. The National Hurricane Centre Director, Bill Reid, has said that tropical storm winds, which will hit North Carolina in the afternoon, would then stretch onto New England over the weekend. So as we've been saying, that's what the predictions are from the United States as regards Hurricane Irene. Now, here's proof that Laura Tobin can move at some speed. Here she is with the weather forecast.
I had to take off my heels. I'm running my flip-flops, but I'm here to tell you some very uninspiring weather, I'm afraid. It is looking pretty wet outside today. We've got heavy rain across eastern areas of England, and we've got heavy showers across southwest England and Wales. The radar depicts those very nicely. The yellows and greens in the southwest showing our massive showers. This rain tracking up the east coast of England. Some places have already had 20 or 30 millimetres of rain falling today. That's around about an inch. Where the rain falls, so those temperatures drop, and it certainly doesn't feel like August. For the rest of the day, there is more heavy rain in the forecast and more wet and windy weather as we head on into the weekend as well. Through the coming hours, it's looking very wet in the southwest with heavy showers, thunderstorms spray on the roads through the evening rush hour. The rain will ease across eastern England and push into eastern Scotland as we head through the night. It's worth bearing in mind it's Reading and Leeds Festival this weekend. Amongst other festivals, it's wet here at the moment, but all the latest details on those can be found online.
And we're underway.